China's implication in cyber theft complicates what are already delicate relations with the world's most populous country. Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen has that story tonight from the White House.
This is not lecturing. Please do not misunderstand me.
Vice President Biden kicking off the 7th annual strategic and economic dialogue between the U.S. and China was not the only American eager to be seen not lecturing his Chinese visitors. Secretary of State Kerry devoted at least as much attention to climate change.
This topic alone, frankly, validates our dialogue.
As to other areas of concern he grouped together.
And we look forward to a very frank discussion of cyber security and other ongoing concerns such as internet freedom, human rights, and religious liberty.
This year's talks unfold amid reports of Chinese complicity in a hacking of the White House Office of Personnel Management. Did U.S. officials raise that?
I can't confirm specifically that the breach at OPM was discussed, but I would point to what I said yesterday, which is that cybersecurity issues routinely come up.
Treasury Secretary Jack Lew delivered the sternest public rebuke on cyber, softened by bland language about China's interest in upholding the global economic and financial architecture.
This includes responsibilities to abide by certain standards of behavior within cyberspace.
The Chinese warned their hosts to choose dialogue over confrontation, even when consensus proves elusive.
Decision makers of both countries must always remember that confrontation is a negative-sum game in which both sides will pay heavy prices and the world will suffer too.
Douglas Paul, who served on the National Security Council under Ronald Reagan and the first George Bush, cited President Obama's recent failures to secure Trade Promotion Authority and halt the creation of an Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank as examples of why China might be getting the better of the dialogue.
There's a lot of issues of competency on the American side, and it's allowing China more running room. Overall, China has gotten stronger during this period, and the U.S. ability to pull itself together has been scattershot.
Vice President Biden also urged the Chinese not to misunderstand U.S. intentions in the Pacific, reminding his visitors at one point that the United States boasts over 7,600 miles of shoreline along that body of water. Brett?
James, we're expecting the White House to announce tomorrow this major revision to its policy on negotiating with terrorist groups holding hostages. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, senior officials have confirmed to Fox News that tomorrow we'll see the release of a presidential directive and executive order that will create a hostage recovery fusion cell, a full-time agency embedded inside the FBI with its own director that will coordinate all of the rescue and release efforts for U.S. hostages and also manage communications with their families. These documents will also make clear that the families need not fear federal prosecution if they pursue ransom payments. However, the White House also made clear today there will be no change to the no concessions to terrorist groups policy on the part of the United States, even though the United States abandoned that policy, made an exception for it in the case of Sergeant Bo Bergdahl last year, Brett.
Yeah, good point. James Rosen, live on the North Lawn. James, thank you.